We are back on the solo, and a lot have gone on, Joe, since the last solo. The world is in turmoil.
It is, mate. It's gone.
Donald Trump's been shot.
I know, we haven't even spoke about that.
Joe Biden's out of the race.
Kamala's in.
There's been kids getting stabbed up in Liverpool. There's been riots all across the UK. There's a civil war brewing.
It feels that way, doesn't it? You know you're a dad, and you can kind of put yourself in them shoes, can't you? Like you almost can't, like, in a way. I think about it. Fucking hell, how could someone do that? Like, if someone ever did that to my kid, you'd just be thinking, like, I don't know how you could let it happen. Not that they let it happen, but you know what I mean? It's just, I don't even know what. Hard to comprehend, isn't it?
It's hard to comprehend what they must be going through at the minute, what they must be thinking. I think, because I don't want to speak out the term here, I think, did a couple of the kids die? I
think 2 or 3, yeah.
2 or 3 died, the rest were in, like, critical. What kind of weirdo, like, weirdo is too good a term for him. What kind of sick, evil,
you're twisted, aren't you, at that point?
Person and delinquent scumbag goes, like, I'm not saying stabbing no one is good. But to go into a dance class, I think that's where I was, wasn't it? Was it a Taylor Swift dance class?
Yeah, it was like dance class party type thing.
To go to a dance class and specifically target kids. What kind of...
It's just like the most vulnerable people you could... It's like, you just couldn't imagine, with their whole lives in front of them.
It winds me up now, like... Straight away, we're often going to go on a rant now, aren't we? But this guy now will go to jail, and he might even have 30 years, and then in 30 years, we just let him out. Like, that's a broken toy. Like, that can't be fixed.
No.
Are you going to rehabilitate a guy who stabbed 6 kids? And in 30 years when he comes out, that will protect his identity and give him a new address and somewhere new to live and keep him in protection. Kill him.
Yeah, I think there's...
Kill him.
You know, when it's that blatantly obvious, that there's no denying that this
I don't care what you
do.
do. How you do it. Lethal injection.
Yeah.
The old school elect. I don't care what you do. Kill the guy. You've just killed 6 kids.
Yeah.
What type of right-minded person would even think about that, let alone going doing it? Like, as you said, when you got a kid, it's bad anyway. It's bad for anyone to comment. But when you got a kid yourself, the worst thing you can possibly imagine is someone hurting them.
Oh, mate.
Or do it, or bring... I get angry at the thought of someone upsetting my kid, let alone physically harm him, let alone something even worse again. Like, kill a guy. Yeah, what are we doing? What's wrong with the country?
Imagine turning up to come and pick your kid up.
And do you know what they'll do now? They'll put him in jail, and they'll put him in a protected fucking sector of the jail.
Yeah, it's wrong.
You know what's going on? And we wonder why the country's in.
There's no punishment.
Debt, and why the country's
enough.
in No, there's not.
There's nothing.
Kill him dead.
Yeah.
If he did that in a certain state of America, he'd be given a death penalty.
If it was like a questionable, we don't know if he did it. But in this case, like, it's 100% he's done it. You got, like, it's got to be made a stand in it. I know we don't do that in this country,
but we should.
There's an argument.
Why don't we do it in this country?
There's an argument for it.
Same with the paedophiles.
Yeah.
If you're attracted to a kid now, 10 years for some of them, 3 years in jail is not going to make you any less attractive, because they'll chuck you on the wing with all the other nonsense. And what do they do then? They'll sit in jail talking about...
Normalising it.
Talking about nonsense. It makes me fucking angry, but honestly,
you see these videos, don't you? And they're like, suspended sentence.
They can be rehabilitated. No, they can't.
Half of them get suspended sentences. They don't
it's a
even go to
mental
prison.
Illness. Yeah, it is a mental illness that can't be cured. So he's always going to be a danger to a kid. So either castrate him or give him the death penalty.
But even then, they got hands on it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But then he can't reproduce. So you ain't passing our gene on then.
No.
If we eliminated all paedophiles, right, or castrated every paedophile on the planet, in 10, 15, 20 years, there will be no more.
No, that's it.
That's not just something you don't develop an attraction. It's like being gay. You don't get born straight and then develop an attraction to a male.
No, that's it.
Or a female if you're a woman. You're either born gay.
That's it.
Or you're not. You're either born with these messed up genes or you're not.
I agree. I'm like, what? There's no one in the world, I don't think.
And I should have worded that differently. I don't mean being a paedophile is like being gay. What I mean is...
it's two thoughts are coming out.
No, what I mean, if you're a gay man or gay woman, you're born like that. You don't get to 30 years of age and then start getting attracted to the... That's always been inside us.
I don't think there's a world where someone...
As a straight man.
Yeah.
You know, I was born... I wasn't born a gay man and then got to 30 and thought, right, I'm attracted to women. Do you know what I mean?
Then no one's going to be able to change you.
It's your genetic makeup.
You know now no one's going to change you and what your views are. You're not going to all of a sudden...
If your genetic makeup is that you're attracted to kids and you're some sicko, get gone.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, it's it's carnage, and there's riots everywhere. There's a lot more to the riots probably than. I think that obviously the stabbing has started it, but there's a lot more to it as well. It is, you just get political. You got the far left, you got the far right. I don't think, there's nothing wrong with being on the left or the right, in my opinion. But the far left and the far right doesn't create a good mix. I think that escalates things. There's no simple solution, I don't think, to any of the issues in the country. But it's not getting any better, that's for sure. It's a worrying time.
Oh, it is, mate, yeah.
When you're raising kids, it's a worrying time to think, if this is what it's like now, what's going to be like in 10 years? And
we're, like, lucky to a degree, as in, like, we're not at the cold front of it, are we? We're not.
We're quite segregated.
We're so far away from it.
In the mountains, we're not in the cities.
We just really see it on the news. We don't really get any fallout from it around here, There's no one.
And then you can't always trust the news either, because the news will show you what they want. It depends what news station you're watching. 100%. If you're watching BBC News, the riots are because of Tommy Robertson and the EDL, and
and he's in Spain,
and it's full of racists, and it's inciting violence against immigrants. And if you watch a different news channel, maybe a right news channel, the riots are because people have had enough of illegal immigrants and enough of these people coming over here. I'd say these people, use that term. This is what they say, innit?
Yeah.
Oh, these people coming over here and doing this and doing that. And
I mean, like, I find, you don't even have to say, like, I'm not racist, but, like, it's just such a hard topic to talk about. But I do think, like, if you're going to pay, like, a lot of these people are paying, like, they reckon it's like $5,000 to come over in a boat. It's like, EasyJet flight, 50 quid. Why aren't you taking that? There's a reason why you can't come over legally. You haven't
got a passport. And if you haven't got a passport, why haven't you got a passport?
Yeah, or if you have got a passport and you can't come.
Are you going to get turned away at customs? Yeah.
So it makes you, like, start questioning. I heard that argument off someone, like, a couple of weeks ago.
The thing I think as well about the coming over on the dinghy thing as well is, again, I could just be, like, speaking out a term and I might have this totally wrong, but someone said to me, from these countries where these immigrants coming from on the boat, there's 4, like, European countries before they get to us, obviously France being one of them, and they're like, they don't stop at France because if they get to France, they won't be housed as well as they will be over here. They won't be given as many benefits as they're given over here. So they know that we are a walkover country.
Yeah,
for being
it's like the promised land.
There is no system. Yeah, you're meant to come over here legally, but if you don't, it's almost like Do
you see Elon Musk? He said the first Muslim country with nukes will be the UK.
Yeah, I'm sure I've seen Trump say something about that as well.
Yeah.
That now Labour in control.
And, like, the trouble is, like, I'm not well educated enough, just to preface this, like, on any of it to have, like, a full opinion on it, but I'm, like, open to hearing different things on it.
Here's my argument, right? Here we go. I'm about to really divide the fucking audience here now.
Good God.
What you just said was, you're not clued up enough to have an opinion on it. But I'm guessing you were like me and you feel if you are going to come over here, you should come over in a legal manner and you should be prepared to work and provide, and you shouldn't be able to necessarily live for years on end off the government. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, 100%. And I believe that about the people who are already over here.
No, because you got that opinion, like me, you've got to start your statement with, oh, I'm not educated on it and I might be speaking out to him, but now if you had the opinion of they should all come in, they're all seeking a better life, the country's a war zone, let every single immigrant that comes over, a legal immigrant, let them in, would you have to start the statement with...
No, because you wouldn't get judged as being...
Because you wouldn't get judged.
Racist or something like that.
If you... I've had... I wouldn't say arguments, but I've had sort of discussions with people and I've said, look, I think it should kind of be like Australia, where you apply for your visa. If you're going to come, you have this job lined up. You can kind of... offer this to the country, you can offer a trade. Not even a trade. The country can say to you, right, yeah, you can come over, we got a job in this factory for you, are you prepared to go and do it? Yeah, I'm prepared to go and do it. Right, great.
I agree, yeah.
But it's kind of just like, oh no, you come over, we'll house you, we'll clothe you, we'll feed you, we'll give you this much a week.
We'll figure the rest out.
What incentive have they got then to go and...
Yeah.
But then you get labelled a racist, you get labelled heartless, you're far right, whereas... If you're on the other side of the coin, you can kind of just say all this without any education in the background, or without any sort of looking into the background of it. And
I think you can be deemed as something bad and demonized for having, like, that opinion that we've got, but really I think it's just common sense.
Yeah.
Like, I can't look at it in any other way. I don't feel like I've been twisted by anything I've seen online. I feel like come on, it just makes common sense.
It's common sense. Look, for me, it's not a race thing. I know plenty of Muslims who are really good people.
Yeah,
who abide by the law over here and who live and who work and live peacefully. Just like there's plenty you see on the news who are wrong, and the same with fucking Christians. I know plenty of Christians who are good people, but every now and then there's a bad one. Do you know what I mean? But it's not a race thing. It's not black. It's not like you were black, so you behave like this. You were Asian, so you behave like this. You were white. No, like in every race, there's gonna be bad people.
Yeah.
But I just feel like by putting a process in place where you do a background check, have you got a criminal record? Have you got a trade? Or are you prepared to work? Why are you coming over here? Who's coming with you? I just feel like that does a better job of eliminating.
Yeah.
And I know you can't do that with British people because they're born here, but that's the nature of the beast.
Hey, yeah, but I think, even the British people who live here, I think, say if you're on the dole, you're getting your house paid for, you're getting £100 a week or whatever it is, I think the equivalent of that, there should be like a community bus going around picking you up and making you work them hours.
Got to do a bit of litter picking. Got to do a bit of paint. Yeah,
you can't get a job. Let's pick you up and tidy the country up. Let's not just sit in your house playing Xbox.
I'm all for it. But look, I'm not afraid to say and stand on my opinion that the country is wrecked. It's going to get worse. I'm not political in any sense. All everyone done was slate the Tories for years, and I'm not saying the Tories were good, they weren't. But do we really think that Labour are not singing off the same hymn sheet?
I think it's two sides of the same coin, isn't it?
I think, like you said, it's the age-old saying, you got the Tories, and then you got the Tories who wear the red tie.
Yeah.
The country's wrecked. Something got to change. And I don't think putting Keir Starmer in place is going to really change a great deal. I think they need to look at the system as a whole, totally change it, because what we're doing at the minute isn't working. Whether we want to admit it or not, there are people coming over here illegally. Those people are committing crime. Those people are, all right, there's white people committing crime as well, and there's British people committing crime. But, unless you're going to do a background check, unless we're going to see a passport, how are we ever going to be able to kind of nip it in the bud?
Have you watched any of the Tommy Robinson's documentaries?
I watched a little bit of it. I watched his podcast with Jordan Peterson, which I did enjoy. I gotta be fair. I take Tommy Robinson with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
I think he's very smart in terms of he knows certain things he says he's gonna get clicks. There's certain things he says that I think, that makes sense. There's certain things he says that I think, that's a bit fucking far-fetched. But there's some substance to a lot of it. And the media, they do get behind what they think people want to hear. When you watch the documentary about the Syrian kid is the one you're on about, isn't it? And then, you've got... So this is what winds me up on Facebook. You've got this documentary. He's obviously filming them against their will, which he shouldn't be doing, right? So no one's saying that what he's doing is right. But regardless of whether they know they're being filmed or not, what are they saying about the Syrian kid? He threatened to rape the boy who he didn't waterboard him, did he? He did tip water on his face, all right? He shouldn't have done it. Threatened to rape his sister. The kid got found with a screwdriver and a knife in his bag. Has beat a girl up, I think. Has beat multiple girls up. So people are saying this, but then the far left, because Tommy Robinson said, I'm not watching our documentary, he's a con man. All right, but... should we not just watch with an open mind and see what you think?
Yeah.
Just like you want us to look at it, you want us to look at it as, look at it with an open... Like if far left would consider someone a far right, they would say, look at it with an open mind, not all immigrants are bad.
Yeah.
And if you look at it with an open mind, you're capable of saying, I agree. Like me and you were saying, no, they're not all bad. Some of them do want to come here and provide a better life.
Yeah.
But then they should do the same thing and look at that and think, some of what you're saying on here is nonsense, but... when you get teachers from the school saying we were paid 18 grand not to say anything, not to release any records, and then when you do look on, and then somehow he goes and looks at the records, and like you said, the kid's threatened to rape year 7 girls, he's threatened to stab people, he's been caught with a knife.
Why are you hiding that?
He was hardly assaulted the Earth kid who was just there, trying to get by and people were picking on him.
Why would the government hide that? Is that because they've brought loads of Syrians in? Is that because they want to bring more in? Why do they want to bring them in?
I think it's a mixture of both.
Do you know what I mean? What's the incentive?
I think number one, I don't think they want to... I think they've brought a load in so they don't want to cause panic. I think it gets clicks, doesn't it? It gets clicks. Same anything. It gets clicks. Me and you talking about this will probably get clicks.
Yeah.
It gets clicks because Syrian kid is bullied for being Syrian. And instantly, I remember seeing it on the news, and I'm thinking, the poor kid. Like, I remember my missing. Have you seen what they done to that poor Syrian kid? I remember it vividly saying it.
Yeah.
Straight away, you click on the article, fucking, hope them kids get what's coming to them. The fucking racist wankers. This and that.
It ruined that kid's life, didn't it? The kid.
Well, apparently. So again, I haven't watched it. I got about half hour in, and not actually.
I
some
haven't
come out, and I haven't watched the rest of it.
I've watched a bit.
Look, there's substance to it. There's also substance to, Tommy Robinson was in the EDL. So there is substance to that when people say, he's got a racist agenda. But I think because of that, because of his path, people are quickly like, I'm like, the people on the left will kind of, I'm not going to watch that.
Yeah. He also, I'm not trying to stick up for him, but he also can't control everything everyone in that group's doing.
Of course he can't.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's going to be a couple of people who jump on the bandwagon. They're the same as, like, that's like saying all Muslims are bad because of one Muslim. Well, like, we're not saying that either.
No, so there's been, all across the country, you've had these riots, haven't you? And I seen a video of a riot, I don't know where it was, a load of guys pulling, again, a Muslim on age guy pulling him out of his car, ripping his car, or smashing it. Now that's fucking wrong, regardless, right? That's wrong, because you're just doing that because of the colour of the guy's skin.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also don't think what we get shown, the Muslim community have come together and they are rioting against that. And fair enough, right? Like you said, not all of them. But then they are causing damage as well. And they are doing stuff and not all eyes coming out. So there's two sides to each coin. Like you said, no one bad apple spoils a bunch. Is that a saying?
Yeah,
like a bunch of
I think one bad apple does spoil the bunch.
Right. Well, that's a shit saying then, because that's not true, is it? Not everyone rioting... Not everyone rioting because of the stabbings has got a racist agenda. They're rioting because 6 kids have been stabbed.
Yeah. Mate, if that had happened around here, we'd all come together.
Not every Muslim rioting is rioting because they got a racist agenda. They're rioting because we're not going to have our community smashed up, and you're not going to target us because of who we are. And that's fair enough as well.
And the kid, to be fair, doesn't look like he's a Muslim. Is he a Muslim?
The kid who stabbed?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's
so not. So, how this is somehow coming
I think he's born in Cardiff, wasn't he? He was born in Cardiff. I think his parents were migrants, Africans or something, were they?
Yeah, where was it? Rwanda or something?
Rwanda or something like that, which is like a bit of a... I'm sure that's like a Christian country. You have to look at that.
Yeah, so
but look, he's an extremist regardless of what he is.
Yeah.
So
but how this is all linked together somehow, I
don't know the relation. Again, it's uneducated people on both sides.
It's people who's probably gone, it's probably a,
fucking immigrant. Seen his name, he's a fucking immigrant, legal immigrant, get him from you if he won you, and then bang, there's the riots.
Yeah.
But if you listen to like what Tommy Robinson and some of the other guys are saying, again, not to stick up for him, he's not saying they should all be deported. He's not... Whether that's his agenda deep down or not, I don't know. But he's not saying that, essentially. He is kind of saying, a bit like what we just said, there needs to be a system in place where, not pick and choose, but you've got to come over here and earn your keep, like you would have to do if you went to Australia.
Thing is though, mate, compared to 10 years ago, level of how safe, you probably feel pretty safe, I imagine, with the skills you've got, but in general, I think the general feel out there is not very safe out there.
No, at all. But it's stressful, bro. Honestly, I've come off Facebook and Instagram for the most part. I mean, I think what I done 12 days off Instagram. I think I popped on the beginning of the week, and I'm coming back off because it's all I'm seeing is these riots and the violence, and you've got the far left who do my head in, you've got the far right, and I think it's just stressful. It just causes anxiety that.
You're fighting a war in your head.
I know it's not always good to be totally blind against it, but sometimes it is.
Yeah.
Because like you say, it's not directly affecting us, Stu. That's not the attitude to have. I know. I believe something should be done about it. All of it. The country's fucked. I'd like to get from you, to be honest. I didn't have family here, and the baby.
No, I said the same to my missus.
I would get from you, but
I said during COVID, right? It's all well and good getting it up about it, because I was at the time. I was getting really pissed off about all sorts of things, it's changing life. But I was like, right, I can either switch off, disengage from it, because unless I'm actually going to actively be someone doing something about this, I got to switch off, because it just ruins you. You're in war in your mind all the whole time.
I know about 2 weeks ago when all this kicked off, I spent one night on Facebook. I was on my phone 2 hours straight, no looking through statuses and reading content and then typing out the comment and taking it back and that ain't good for you. It's not good for you. But that's not to say I want to be blind where I don't think so much should change. But I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer. You're never gonna, it's never good to have a far left society. It's never good to have a far right. We need somewhere in the middle, don't we? Logic. We need logical thinking as well. Do away with the fucking political parties, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think as well.
Get rid of Conservatives. Get rid of Labour. Get rid of them all. Get rid of them all. Everyone run. What's your agenda? What's your policies individually? And I'll vote for you, not as a party, because it's messed up, right? Like the election, I think Reform had so many votes that they should have got a chair, but because of how it works.
Yeah, do they have more votes than Conservatives?
They have more votes than Conservative, yet because of how it works with the counties and this and that, they didn't get a chair. And it's like, well, that's obviously a corrupt system. Do you know what I mean? It's like in Wales, this is how fucked it is. Labour got in Wales, but when they done the stats, only 26% of the population voted. And of that 26%, I think, let's just say they had just over 50%. So just over 50% of 26 would be what?
12.5%.
14%, is it? So 14% of Wales have voted for Labour, yet now they run in the Welsh government, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But then who do we blame? Because
it's on us.
If people are not voting, people don't want to open their eyes or look for change. But
I do think, though, people look at it like, it ain't going to matter what we do.
No.
You know what I mean? I think there's an element of
I think there's people like that. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
I was guilty of that for years. I also think people vote for Labour or Conservative because their parents and their grandparents voted. I know people who, Labour's always been big in Wales. I know people who vote for Labour because I've always voted for Labour.
I think as well,
I also know, sorry to interrupt you, right. I also know that people will think, right, well, I don't really want to vote for Labour. I want to vote for, let's say, Reform or Plaid. But they're never going to get in.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
So if I don't vote for Labour, Conservatives are going to get in. And I don't like Labour. I don't like Conservatives, so I'll just have to vote for Labour. Do you know what I mean?
They want to back a winner, don't they?
Yeah.
They want to have a chance at winning.
And it's not just that. You hear people say it like, oh, look, if you don't vote for one of the big two, it's a wasted vote, which to some extent it is. But if we don't get that mindset, we're never going to have change, are we?
No, I think in 4 years, if Reform stay about, I think they'll have more of a foothold. But I think they'll be like a third.
I think because of UKIP, people try to kind of mock Farage and make, like the media do, they kind of try to put on this media crusade of, oh, he's an idiot, he's racist, this and that. But I think it's kind of backfired a bit because I don't think people expected him to do as well. Because he's almost running independent to an extent. He started his own party.
Pretty much.
I don't think people have... I don't think it's worked... Because do you know what I think there are a lot of favours is going on I'm a Celebrity.
Yeah, probably humanised him big time,
didn't come across as a racist on there. All right, he was a little bit political, typical politician, but he wasn't a bullshitter. He kind of wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty. And like you say, it humanised him a bit. And I think, not saying that you shouldn't vote for his party based on you enjoyed him on I'm a Celebrity, but...
That's why they put that Matt Hancock on there.
Of course it was.
He was the most hated man in the UK.
And it come all right for him in the end, didn't it?
Yeah, it probably saved him a lot of aggro going on there.
But look, we do need change. How we do it.
Jack Shaw for Reform, is it?
I don't know. I don't know who the hell I'm going to go. I don't think I'd go for... I don't know. I don't think I'm made for politics.
I don't think I am either, mate.
I'm too...
They just rewind a few of these episodes and we'd be out.
I'm opinionated enough, but I'm too fiery, I think. I'm too why can't you see the logic? Do you know what I mean? I don't know what we do to change it. But
I know sometimes laws are made for the fringes, isn't it? So what did I hear the argument of the other day? The argument of, is it the UK or in America? California, I think, they've made it legal now so a kid can go through transition in high school without telling their parents because, for one, right, I had the argument of, that's just ridiculous, which it is in my opinion as well. But then there's this one kid who's maybe gay or trans or whatever, and they're 16 years old. So this is right at the end of the argument. They're 16 years old. Their parents are far right or really Christian values, will probably lock them in for the rest of their lives if they do that. So there's the argument of, right, maybe that's unfair for that one, but then 90% of them is unfair to out.
But was you at 14 capable of making a life-changing decision?
Not 16, I don't think.
If I had said to you at 16, Joe, pick a job, you're going to have to do this job for the rest of your life, would you have been able to pick a job? No. 18, 20, would you have had a better idea?
I couldn't do it now, mate.
No.
You know what I mean?
But I think, Funny you mentioned that, because I went down a rabbit hole with Jordan Peterson on YouTube yesterday. Obviously, I'm off my phone a bit, so I'm just sat there like watching YouTube, and you know, like he done. I ever seen his interview with Channel 4 with that woman?
Yeah.
Oh, and
got ya.
Was it at the end? It's fucking awesome, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's like,
do you think it's? Yeah, I can't remember what the exact phrase is.
It's along the lines of, she said, he's a big advocate of freedom of speech, and I think he says something along the lines of that's what freedom of speech is. He said, I risk being offensive to give my view on something, and she's like, so why is your freedom of speech allowed if it's going to be offensive? And he's like, well, what are you doing now? You're risking offending me by asking these questions. I felt really uncomfortable in it. And she's like, you know, and he's like, you know, you're not afraid to offend me to get across the point you want to get across, that what you feel is right. And she's just like, he's like, got ya.
She's like, you have got me.
And what I like about Jordan Peterson, right, and I like this about anyone who's prepared to have it. I'm all for everyone having a point of view, but you should be able to argue your point of view. Like, me and you could have totally different opinions on a UFC fight now on Saturday. You think Stylebender's going to win, perhaps I think DDP's going to win. Nothing wrong with that. I shouldn't hate you for having an opinion, you shouldn't hate me. No. But you and me should both be able to sit there civilized and say, well, this is why I think he's going to win, and this is why I think you're wrong. And you should be able to say, all right, but this is what I think. And who knows then, if you go there with an open mind, I might think, you know, he's got a fucking point there, actually. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Whereas sometimes I think people go into it so closed off, no, this is my point of view, nothing you can say. Like,
you got to be open enough to lose.
I should have to call a transgender what do they call them, a non-binary, a dog, because that's what they want, and there's nothing you can say to change my mind. And it's like, I could just, you know, just how they can be called what they want, I should be able to call them what I want. You know, it's like, and look, nothing against transgenders. If you generally are feel you was a male born in a woman's body and you're going to go for the transition and become a woman, and you want me to call you her or by your female name, no problem at all. If that's what, you know, if that makes you happy, it's not going to make no difference to my life, right? But I'm not going to go out my way to be asked, like, well, no, you used to be a man, so I'm going to call you a man. Well, no, if that's what you want, how you want to live your life, fine. But what I can't get behind is the they, them. Some days I'm a he, some days I'm a she, some days I'm an it, some days I'm a fucking dog and this and that. It's like, no, let's just keep it relatively logical. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Mate, if I was...
I think I've seen even Jordan Peterson do an interview and she was like, well, I'm a transgender female, so what, you wouldn't call me she? And he was like, yeah, of course I would. He was like, yeah. But I want to have you tell me that I need to call all these different pronouns, all these different people. No, if you want to be called she, I'll call you she because that's what you identify as. But don't tell me I got to identify you as fucking Lucky the dog because you fucking want to identify as a dog.
Yeah, mate, it's all baffling, isn't it? Even 10 years ago, though, you wouldn't have been, like, maybe you would have, I don't want to just tie you with it, but you wouldn't have even been saying I would have called you she, probably. No. That's how far, like, the trouble is these things, they go inch by inch, right? Yeah. It doesn't all happen overnight. So, like, 20 years ago, they would have been like, I'm not calling it her, it's a him. I know it's a him. Yeah. Whereas now, it's like, yeah, we'll do that. And then in like, 10 years, you'd be saying, it's Lucky the dog.
Do you feel like it's starting to come full circle, though?
Yeah, I do think so. I think it's, I'm hoping people it's not just a track one way. I'm hoping it's a swing.
I think that Olympic boxer was the best example of that. Obviously, everyone jumped on the bandwagon and said she's a trans, she's competing in the female, and she used to be a man, which obviously we know now is not the case.
Yeah. Glad we didn't put a podcast out that week.
I know. Now we know that she was born a female, got male chromosome, something like that. Higher testosterone.
Intersex or something.
Yeah, now we know that. And I think, I know it's kind of coming full circle because now people are retracting statements. Because I was the first to say, she can't fight the fucking women if she used to be a man. Then you find out that. Now I have the outlook of, well, she does need to do a drug test and she does need to do a eligibility test because if she does have a male chromosome and her testosterone is naturally, what did they say, was 5 times higher than your average female, I don't think that's fair. Just like if she done a drug test, if two women fought, and if me and you fought and I done a drug test and my test is 5 times higher than it should be, I'm going to get pot for... Yeah. This could be because there's an unfair advantage. So I think that needs to be done. But I've also not going to sit there and say, oh, well, she's a man, because she's not. She was born a female. But I think it's coming full circle now, because I think, I think 5 years ago, we would have just been told, well, she's allowed to identify as a... Sorry, let me start again. If she was a man and is now a female, 5 years ago, we would have just been told, well, now she identifies as a female, and we would have been, all right, we got to accept it. Don't speak out because you'll be a transphobe, or you'll be a homophobe, or whatever. Whereas I think now there is naturally now people are not afraid to give a bit of pushback now.
Yeah.
Just like with the riots. You would be afraid to say anything years ago because you'd be labelled racist, whereas now me and you're not afraid to say, well, look, yeah, I don't think everyone who wants to come here should just be allowed in. I think there should be a process. I think it's starting to come, but then it's like a yo-yo, isn't it? It could spiral one way or another.
Then you also... Do you see, like, someone posted something hateful online and they got sent to prison? Something like that.
Crazy, but...
And it's like...
It's crazy.
What do you deem as hateful, though? Like, is this podcast going to be hateful? Like, could you end up in prison tomorrow? Imagine that. Do you know what I mean, though?
We'd be on a run now, mate.
Do you know what I mean?
But also, another one is that Keir Starmer have started saying that the rioters now, can be classed as an act of terrorism, in which case you would get sentenced to 6 years. Yet there's paedophiles who are getting 2 year suspended sentences.
Yeah, it's bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah, if you attend a riot, so I don't think you've got to be acting violently. I think if you attend a riot and they deem that you were a threat, is that it's an act of terrorism, you're going to have 6 years. I don't...
Did you see, though, in America when they had all this BLM and all that stuff, did you reckon they reckon there was like CIA were like dropping off pallets of bricks in the places they were planning to go riot and stuff like that? And it's like,
crazy,
how do you know that over here they're not getting involved? Like they're putting like one guy who's like a police officer undercover or someone who, they got an agenda. They're going to rile up these far right or whatever, get them to start kicking off. And then once it starts to become a battle, everyone's involved, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Makes them look maybe worse as well because you've riled them up. And then it's like...
That is full conspiracy. But
Listen, but the way the world is at the minute, nothing is out of the question, I don't think.
Do you start like losing yourself in your mind going like, is what I'm seeing even real anymore? Like, I start thinking, is that even happening there? Like, am I just in like a loop?
I see some people's point of views as well, and I'm like, you can't genuinely believe why you're right there.
No, I know. But then I start to think, am I
losing the plot?
Yeah, am I the one who's
am I the one? Are they normal? And I'm fucking thinking, I don't know. Social media is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Because there's so many videos and reels for one side or the other. Like, we've all been guilty of it. I watch a fucking 10 seconds reel sometimes. I think, I see it. I heard about that. How do you know about that? I see it on the reel. They're like, well, who done the reel? Oh, I don't know. You know what I mean? My evidence is YouTube based, so it's reel based. Just like some other people's is the same. It leads you into a false sense of education sometimes, doesn't it? And then when you listen to someone who actually knows about the topic, like a Jordan Peterson, then you think, all right, well, he really knows about it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he's like dedicating his life to this sort of thing, isn't he?
Yeah.
And, maybe he's wrong because there's people dedicating their lives to the other side, but I always feel like they haven't really got a valid argument. I feel like they're holding it on some moral basis, not fact basis.
What I find of him, I've never seen him lose a one-on-one debate. I've never seen him get called a fascist. What is a fascist? I think that's the right word. I've never seen him get accused of something and him not be able to explain his way out of it. I've never seen him get stumped and be like, oh, you got me, And it more often than not seems to be when he comes back to it, so if he's getting interviewed or he's going one-on-one with someone, he kind of puts a point to him, and every now and then you see him think, oh, he's kind of got me there with his words.
Yeah. I've been watching quite a bit of that Piers Morgan Uncensored lately.
Yeah.
And like, before I used to think, he's a right dick. And sometimes I still think that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's always like a good debate and argument. And whether he thinks you're right or wrong, he will still find something to get you. Like,
yeah. What I don't like with Piers, right, is because some days he will have a genuine debate, and then other days he will just talk over people.
That is probably the biggest thing.
I think when he had Andrew Tate on, Andrew Tate was like, all I ask is you be a professional and because he said, just let me speak my point and then you can come back with me. He's like, I don't listen to your point and interrupt halfway through. And like some of the stuff he does, I think is really good, especially on like the transgender thing. Andrew Tate was a good one, but there were points when he interviewed Andrew Tate where like, I think he said to Andrew Tate, like, you've been on Alex Jones's podcast. What do you think of Alex Jones? Yeah, he's a respectful guy. I think some of what he said has got some substance to it. He's like, Sandy Hook. He had Sandy Hook completely wrong. Kids were killed. Do you advocate that? And he's like, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, he does try to throw.
He's like, what are we doing? What? So because I've spoke to Alex Jones and I think, he's an all right guy, I advocate everything he's ever done in his life. I think he said they took it out on the thing, but I think he said on the live interview, you was involved in the News of the World where they leaked dead kids' voicemails. Does that mean I advocate that because I'm sat here speaking to you? No. He said, that doesn't also mean everything you've ever done in your life is terrible.
No.
And he's like, yeah, but you went on this podcast. He's like, I'd go on anyone's podcast. He's like, if Joe Biden had a podcast, I'd go on it. If Donald Trump had a podcast, I'd go on it. If Boris Johnson, he's like, I'd go on anyone's podcast. I'm not afraid to go on anyone's podcast. But I like some of what Piers does, but sometimes I just wish he'd shut up for 5 minutes. And he doesn't do it with, when he had Jordan Peterson on, he didn't try to talk over him or try to catch him in a loop because I think they shared a lot of the same values, and also he kind of know, well, this guy's pretty smart. He's going to...
Yeah, he's clever, probably cleverer than him, and he's going to catch him out.
But some of what he does is good. And I do like... He had Tate on the other day, again, about something to do with the riots, and they had a bit of back and forth. But I do like that it is uncensored, and he doesn't edit it. He's like, whatever is said and whatever is filmed will be uploaded. Yeah. I'm not going to edit it.
He did stump him a couple of times there as well, to be fair.
He did stump Tate a couple of times. Yeah, he did. Which doesn't happen often, does it?
No. Which I think is good in a way, because he's kind of keeping him accountable.
Yeah. But then he does let himself down with some stuff. He said to Tate, so Tate's like, so what are you saying? That my tweet have incited all these riots across the UK? And he's like, well... No, but you're very influential. He's like, yeah, but you were essentially saying that I've incited the riot.
I think if you're out rioting and it's based purely off what one person said, you're not right anyway. No. But it's not. It's based on this feeling's been coming for a long time.
Listen, in the city of Liverpool where 6 kids are getting stabbed, I'm all for it. If you want to go out and riot because 6 kids in your community have been stabbed, you got every right. If you're on the other end of the country and you're rioting because you think all Muslims are bad and fucking Britain first and this and that, then I think you're a fucking...
And also, just to clarify, I think you may mean this or not, rioting, protesting, letting it know you're not happy, not smashing the place up,
smashing cars, fighting the police. Rioting, you're causing a bit of a disturbance, but not to the point where you're arming people. It should be enough to just say, no, this is how we feel.
Yeah,
you're letting them know. We're doing it.
Yeah. There we are, anyway.
And then Donald Trump got shot. Or shot at.
That whole situation as well.
That's there's a conspiracy in itself.
That is, mate. That is dodgy, isn't it? I mean, how could this kid even get on that roof? How could he get up there with no one seeing? Well, they did see, and still nothing happened.
I think there's 2 sides of what people are arguing now. I think people are arguing that, obviously, it was a setup, but they were kind of slack the security off because it was Trump. I do see some people arguing that Trump planned it.
Oh, mate.
And I'm
you wouldn't risk that. If they were going to do that.
If Trump planned it, you convinced the kid to just get shot? Do it for the good of me fucking winning the vote.
Yeah.
No, the guy's a fucking bit of a savage, isn't he? He's he's that much of a businessman, Trump. He knew the minute he got shot, he probably thought, right, get up and pump your fist now, they're going to love it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I think that is a bit far-fetched to say, he planned it and he done it to win votes. What?
Who's going to risk that?
Who is going to risk that?
You wouldn't trust the best sniper in the world to take that shot at that range. You know what I mean?
And there's footage it's not fake. There's footage of the kid getting shot. You know what I mean? There's camera phone footage of the kid getting pinged by the fucking... Yeah. But something was up, definitely. There's no way you would get any other president in history. There's no way you get near enough. You see how slow the CIA reacted. What, not the CIA, were they? The Secret Service?
Secret Service.
See how slow they reacted?
Yeah. And they didn't even... they shouldn't have let him get back up. In my opinion.
No, they wouldn't. Have you ever seen the assassination attempt on Reagan?
Yeah.
Have you seen how quick they're on him?
Yeah.
They're as good as pin him to the floor. Pin him to the floor, shield him and get him out there. There's no let me grab my shoes. Let me fucking go at the mic. Like you said, it wouldn't have happened. I'm glad it did happen because it done loads. And I think not just America, I think the entire world will be better if Trump is in power.
I think there could be a conspiracy, right? But take it for instance, right? My old job was quite a big corporate company. And when I was at the bottom, I used to look at people on top and think, fucking hell, they switched on, they know what they're doing. And then every step you got closer, you realise no one has a fucking clue what they're doing, mate. No. So I just think it's probably full of incompetency. And as the years gone by, everyone thinks it's this organisation. But I feel when I was at that company anyway, everyone that left between their 50s and 60s whilst I was there, all the talents walked out the door. Yeah. And I reckon that's happened all through the country.
All through everywhere.
You're getting loads of people now who don't give a fuck anymore.
They're just walking into the position they're in.
No attention spans. I think the world's just changed completely in the last 20 years.
It's totally wrecked. And I just think a guy like Trump, who is a billionaire, who's been successful, who's been a multi-millionaire billionaire for 50 years since he was 20, has got his hands dirty, whether we want to admit it or not, right, has worked with a mob, has worked with some serious people, has developed all kinds of businesses. He's not doing it because he needs the money or because he wants to be famous. He's famous enough.
Oh, yeah. He could do talks, 100 grand talks for the rest of his life.
Like McGregor tweeted, the guy's 77, he should be on a yacht sailing around the world enjoying his money, but he's not. He wants to generally make the country better. And I just think we're a guy, like, that's what a country needs, is someone with a business sense.
Yeah.
I think, right, this is going to generate more jobs. This is going to generate more. Who looks at it like a business rather than, I should do what's right, and who's a bit of a puppet master. But if I'm Trump, the money he got, I'm hiring private security.
Oh, 100%. I'm surprised he hasn't.
Because the chances are he's probably going to get in now with Kamala running. And it's mad, I probably know more about American politics than I do about UK politics.
Yeah, same here.
I might are in privates because they're either going to get him killed or they tried to indict him, it didn't work. Like, people are just not ignoring
It's made him more, he's like a living
martyr.
After that assassination, he's like a living martyr now, isn't he?
And you want to talk about the media, like, spinning a narrative. Trump has got 16 indictments. Do you know what 16 indictments means? That means he's done the same crime 16 times. I think it was paying off a porn star, I think. And they're just not to talk about him having sex with a porn star in the 90s. It's like, but Trump has got 16 indictments against. It makes you think, fucking, what have he done? Fucking 16?
Yeah, it's the way they word things, isn't it? It's clever, like, it makes people think, all right, this guy.
But yeah, the world's fucking going insane. But, I mean, you talk about it too much, it gets you worried and fired up. And
I know, you got to shut out from it sometimes.
You got to shut out from it.
But at the same time, I think, like, I always say, oh, now you've got kids, whatever. But it's like, you do focus on it all a little bit more now.
It's hard not to, and it's in your face. That's what I'm saying.
Like,
that's why I've done good. Not bigging myself up, but like that's why I'm glad I've come off social media for a little bit, because it's all I'm seeing and it takes over. That's all I'm thinking about, and it's like, just fucking, you don't need it. It's not 24/7 anyway. I'm not saying you should ignore it completely, but you don't need it 24/7.
No, it doesn't progress your life in any way, does it? But I also think, like, at what time do you go, right, well, maybe we need to do something about it, like...
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's a real job to know, isn't it? But I think, like, that day will probably come when it comes out to our fringes. But when that happens, it's probably too late.
I know it's not the right attitude to have, but like you said, if the people at the top are not doing nothing about it, what about me and you got?
Yeah.
And as scary as it sounds, it probably does take a civil war for something to change. Something like this, like something probably will change now because of this back and forth.
What does that look like, though? Is that like... Do you know what I mean? I just don't get it, because I'm like, surely, you know, there's a lot of, if we're talking like immigrants or whatever, surely there's a lot of these people who are like friends with people who live in this. Do you know what I mean? It's I don't understand how it's going to look.
It's
you know what I mean?
Isn't it?
How would a civil war look?
You wouldn't want a war of the races, would you? Or a war of the left and a war of the right. It's just bad news for everyone. Yeah. But there we go. What can we fucking do, huh? UFC. Let's lighten it up a little bit before we go.
I think we'll have to put the UFC before all this. I'll have to cut this.
People will start them fucking idiots on about politics. Get off.
Yeah, you know.
You look at the analytics. It'll be what's it called? The analytics.
Yeah.
5 minutes viewer time, and they'll just be off then. Like.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. Well, we got Stylebender and DDP. Good fight. I almost forgot about it. It wasn't until they started putting a countdown down that
it's going to be good, isn't it?
That it was happening. So I got a feeling he's going to do it.
I think so as well. I think Dricus obviously really good. Beat Robert Whittaker, beat Darren Till. He's beat Sean Strickland questionably. Like, this is a good fight, but I think Adesanya on his day is better than him.
Yeah, I think styles make fights. I think just because Adesanya beat Strickland, just because Strickland beat Adesanya, but DDP, I don't think it works like we know it don't work like that. I think stylistically, DDP is very strength wrestle heavy, and as proven in the past, it's hard to take Adesanya down and keep him down. You know, the Strickland fight. Adesanya is a better defensive wrestler than Strickland. But, you know, Strickland's not going to try and take Adesanya down. He outstruck him, he outdone him on the feet, whereas DDP mixing his takedowns with Sean Strickland. And I think people may think, oh, well, he done it to Strickland, he should be able to do it. But I don't think that's the case. I think Adesanya is hard to take down. I just think if DDP doesn't get the takedowns going early doors, first and second round, you can expect Izzy to start taking over. What I will say for DDP, he's tough as fuck. He's not going to go away easy. And he's like a fucking marauder, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's just non-stop.
Well, last time I remember saying, oh, he's like a beast for 2 rounds. But you'll watch the last fight, he was a beast for 5 rounds. He didn't stop, did he? So it's definitely an interesting match. I just feel like Izzy's going to have the the picking of him. I think he's going to defend well enough to be able to get his shots off on the feet.
I to be honest as well, like personality, but Dricus mind, he seems like, you know, he's a good laugh.
He's a good character.
But I would like to see Izzy win just because I think he's one of the greatest of all time in my opinion. But he's like, since he's had a couple of losses, he has all the respect's been taken off his name almost.
Definitely. And there's a lot of good fights here. Like Dane have come out and said Strickland's 100% next to the belt. So you got a rematch here, which is interesting because of how one-sided the last fight was. You know, Whittaker's fighting Khamzat. You got the winner there. He's probably going to move on. It depends how this fight goes. Does he have a split decision loss to DDP? Do they chuck DDP back in? Probably not, because...
What did Whittaker say? He said the UFC didn't offer to him. I asked for him.
Yeah. He said he wants to... You can't deny him a title shot then if he beats Khamzat.
That's bigger than a title shot, isn't it? Almost. Not trying to...
Oh, yeah.
Not trying to downplay it.
Whittaker's obviously confident. There's a reason he's asking for it. Do you know what I mean? This would be the third time now, is it? They scheduled the fight.
Yeah.
There's a reason he's asking for it. Like, you know... Khamzat, I think he's as good as they're making him out to be, but since the Usman fight a year ago nearly, there's a lot of doubt, and there's a lot of people saying, oh, is he, you know, look, he locked Usman in the Usman fight. We forget because Usman lost... I'll get your words out, Jack. We forget because Usman lost to Leon twice, how much of a beast Usman was.
Yeah.
And obviously took it on 5 days' notice. Don't get me wrong, but you got to remember, although he took it on 5 days' notice, Usman didn't prepare for Khamzat, but Khamzat hadn't prepared for Usman either.
No, that's
you know what I mean? And Usman's a lot better wrestler than Khamzat. A lot better wrestler than Whittaker, in my opinion. Khamzat got him down
real quick,
pretty easily in the first 2 rounds. Had it been a 5-round fight, we don't know, do we? That's coulda, woulda, shoulda. But yeah, I'm going Izzy. I also think Gamrot will beat Dan up there. That's a really good fight, and I think Usyk will beat Cara France. I really rate that Usyk.
Yeah, I think so as well. What was his last fight he fought?
He fought on the same card as me. He fought Pantoja.
That was it, yeah. And he looked good there as well.
Some people thought he won.
Yeah.
I've only watched the fight once, so I can't have to go back and watch it again. But it was close, wasn't it?
It was close, yeah. It was questionable anyway.
He's a big guy for flyweight. When I see him in the hotel, he's not thick, but he's tall for flyweight. He's about my height, so he's long for that weight, and he also got that knockout power as well.
You look a bit like Dominic Cruz, and he got that sort of
body shape. Well, that's it, body shape, yeah. But
tied to Ivasa Rosenstrike as well. I think that's like a bit of a fan favourite, that isn't it?
I'm going to tie on that one. I feel like Rosenstrike will come to stand. He obviously hits very hard. I think Ty's going to pull it off. I hope he does, because whenever Ty's winning, it's good. And you got the shoey and the dancing, and
especially
it's a good
over
time,
there.
man.
I think as well, it's going to be like Rock'em Sock'em Robots in the middle, isn't it?
Oh, they're not going to run from each other. They're going to meet up and have it. So.
But apart from that, I think I agree. I would like to see Hooker get a win, though. I'd
like to see Hooker win because he's exciting, but I just think Gamrot's style over 3 rounds is a nightmare. He's just relentless, doesn't stop, does he? No,
that's it. So
when did he lose his last fight to, Gamrot? Was his last fight? I think he won the last fight, but did he lose a fight before that?
Gamrot. Was it Dariush? No.
Yeah, I think it was. I think Dariush beat him, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
He's got a win since then, though, I think.
Gamrot. Dos Anjos.
He beat Dos Anjos.
Fiziev, Jalen Turner. He's had three on the bounce, actually.
He's had
3 killers as well.
That's 3 good wins as well.
The Dariush fight then was before them. That's mad, because I would have said, you know, I can't recall seeing him since then. But you know,
I can't remember him fighting Jalen Turner. That's for sure.
Not that we got a show watching UFC, like, you know.
No, you know, no, we're an MMA podcast.
Jesus.
Anyway, apologies, guys, for the MMA podcast going political, and but these things gotta be discussed, I suppose. And
guest wise as well, if you want us to have anyone on, let us know, because we're always open to it.
Yeah,
but you just gotta try and convince them.
People, we don't mind getting, like, if that's what people want on, like, I don't mind reaching out and trying to get people on. It's just, you know, we don't want to become a political podcast, do we? Do you know what I mean?
No, that's it. Although sometimes you feel like some things just got to be spoken
sometimes it's nice to have those people. They can give you look, if you consider yourself on the right, you may have someone on from the left, and they may give a point of view you think, you know, I've never thought about it like that, and vice versa. My old man's coming on, and we just got to tie him down. He's in the midst of about 6 different holidays.
I think you would have liked this one.
Oh, I don't want to want him on this one. It'd have been a 3-hour-long affair. We definitely got cancelled. We got. Who else we got coming on? We got a couple to do, and we're gonna do some.
Yeah, we need to get better planning.
Yeah, we gotta get better plan. You know, newborns and all that. We're gonna sort it out. We are trying to get a bit more consistent. you know, Joe's nipper is starting to sleep hopefully soon. And
the bag's under my eyes.
We got a lot of day down, so we'll get sorted. Shakes will be on. Probably there's a next guest, won't he?
BYB this weekend as well.
BYB this weekend, so we'll have a recap
Gachi.
on that next week. I'm down here cornering. Gachi was on the last podcast in Marshman, so show him some support. And I suppose we will hopefully see you next week.